Live from KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
More than 10,000 migrants are being held in customs and Border Patrol facilities in Eagle Pass, and this number of people is expected to grow.
That's right. With the holidays coming up, Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who represents that area, says that more migrants are expected to come through to Eagle Pass. And as our Daniela Ibarra explains, he's pleading for help, and so are the people who live there.
Neighbors here in Eagle Pass say they're used to seeing migrants come to this side of the border crossing the river, but they say they haven't seen anything like this. Thousands of migrants waiting in this field to be processed by Border Patrol. A lot of the neighbors here told me that they're frustrated that the feds haven't done more.
We're beyond a breaking point.
Tired and overwhelmed. It's a feeling spreading across this Eagle Pass field for those waiting and watching.
It's a nightmare. Total chaos. Total crisis.
Congressman Tony Gonzalez says more than 4,000 people crossed the Rio Grande Tuesday and another 4,000 processed by Border Patrol. Migrants wait hours, even days to get moved. The delays are too much for some to bear.
The emergency responders have had to deal with countless numbers of dead people that have perished in the water.
Rosa Arellano retired from working in Customs and Border Patrol. She says seeing Border Patrol agents pulled from other areas to come here is frustrating.
Babysitting, that's what they're doing.
Migrant advocate Priscilla Lugo says to help with the surge, the state could invest in more border control and expand.
In the sense of making sure that they're able to process more individuals in a more timely and efficient manner so that folks are not desperately waiting for months, weeks on end, and then ultimately making the decision to cross between ports of entry.
This week, Governor Greg Abbott signed SB 4. It's not yet in effect, but would give local police power to arrest migrants who come here illegally.
What do you think about that?
The state is doing everything it possibly can to keep its head above water, and it's trying to help out. But this is a federal issue.
Neighbors want the feds to act.
Congress needs to do something. People need to do something.
Gonzalez says he's sending congressional leaders a letter to ask for help. He says border communities like this one are tired and they want the feds to step up. In Eagle Pass, Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
We know that as it is, the city's migrant dashboard shows nearly 578,000 migrants have arrived in San Antonio since 2021. And here's the thing, that number is sure to go up with the thousands of people that you just saw at the border.
Now, most of those asylum seekers will be catching flights or getting on buses here in San Antonio, headed somewhere else in the U.S. But as Jesse DeGollado tells us, come next year, thousands risk being stranded here.
Exhausted after it took them 2 months to get this far in pursuit of their American dream.
Tomamos una mala decisión en confiar en una persona desconocida.
This family from Ecuador says they made the wrong decision to trust a stranger at the Migrant Resource Center. Whoever it was supposedly knew someone who could get them a cheap flight to Connecticut, but it cost them everything they had, $2,200.
Todo el dinero que teníamos y ya no hay cómo recuperarla.
All our money, she says, and there's no way to get it back. Yet with the Migrant Resource Center at capacity,
4 noches durmiendo ahí afuera.
sleeping out in the cold, and now with thousands more asylum seekers still coming up from the border, many of them could be stranded here as well if the MRC can't help them pay for their plane and bus tickets. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says it's a very real concern.
We don't have guarantees of whether or not that funding is going to continue to come down our way into local communities all across the country without congressional support and federal action.
The mayor says he's been working the phones like other city mayors, pleading with Washington.
We really need some help here, especially as we see what's happening on the border.
Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
It's hard to believe it's been 2 years and the family of little Lena Keel is still searching for her. That little girl was last seen on December 20th of 2021 at the playground at the Villas del Cabo apartment complex right off of Fredericksburg Road. It's near the medical center. Advocates for Lena's family believe that someone out there has information that could bring that little girl home. Now, an age progression sketch shows what Lena could look like now that she's 5. I think we showed it to you just a moment ago. San Antonio police and the FBI are looking for clues in her disappearance. So if you have any information that could help, you can call police at 210-224-STOP.
Tonight, we are learning more about a shooting at a Westside home where a man allegedly shot and killed his own nephew. Jail records show that 59-year-old Barry Moore is charged with murder for killing 43-year-old Kean Johnson. The shooting happened yesterday on Laven Drive near Culebra. According to a police report, Moore and Johnson got into a fight in the backyard here before Moore allegedly shot him. After the shooting, Moore called police himself and then was arrested. Details on what that fight was about are still unclear.
More homeless people in Bexar County are dying. This year, we saw double the number of deaths from last year, which was already a record high. The charity Sam Ministries, which has tracked the deaths for 17 years, believes that this is happening for two reasons. One of them is that the group is getting better at identifying those deaths. The second reason is that more homeless people are dying. Garrett Berger tells us about a program now that could change that.
In the streets and in shelters, Sam Ministries has tallied the deaths of at least 326 people experiencing homelessness in 2023.
Well, I think it underscores what we have been doing and need to continue to do and perhaps even double down on, which is the creation of alternatives.
An example of that, San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg says, is permanent supportive housing, like Town Twin Village on the northeast side. A project for homeless people 50 and older that the city and county are helping fund.
If you weren't here, would you be worried about being able to survive?
Yes, 100%. I'm not in the streets. I'm not fighting for food. I'm not walking like miles and miles to get something to drink sometimes.
They've got tiny homes and RVs. Eventually, they'll have apartments, too.
Town Twin Village opened up here in April. They've got 60 people living here right now. By next summer, they're hoping to have around 125 and more than 200 by the time they're finished the project at the end of next year.
And none of those spots will be open long.
Our campus is going to have 207, as I mentioned, units available. The need is in the thousands.
It's a long road ahead. The city's committed to getting 400 people off the street this budget year.
We need to do everything we can to make sure that our homeless response system is fully resourced, from low barrier shelter to permanent supportive housing to safe and affordable housing, so that everyone has a roof over their heads.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Tonight, San Antonio police are investigating the death of a man who they originally thought was the victim of a car crash. The 29-year-old man was found along Highway 151 near Callahan Road about 1:30 this morning. Paramedics thought he had been hit by a car, but as they were giving that man CPR, they found bullet holes in his back. Officers are now calling this a homicide. Right now, they have no leads on any suspect.
Tonight, a person is in the hospital after firefighters rescued two people from a burning Northwest Side home. That fire happened sometime around 11:30 this morning on Maiden Lane at Brandywine near Culebra. Took firefighters 30 minutes to put out the flames. Now, it's unclear what caused that fire, but San Antonio Fire Chief Charles Hood is telling us that firefighters didn't hear any working smoke detectors inside of that home.
We want to take this tragedy right now just to let the folks of this community know that we've got to be safe and we do not want tragedies like this time of year.
Chief Hood is also reminding people during the holidays not to overload their electrical outlets or to let their live Christmas trees get dry. That's also another fire hazard.
News around Texas now. The Justice Department announcing a lawsuit today against a Texas-based developer and lender. The suit alleges that a development outside of Houston ran a predatory scam targeting tens of thousands of Hispanic borrowers with misleading and false advertisements on social media platforms like TikTok. As a result of that, the DOJ says unsuspecting consumers are allegedly locked into loans they cannot afford.
Our investigation revealed that Colony Ridge operates as a one-stop shop for discriminatory lending. It steers applicants into seller-financed loans, exploiting their limited English proficiency in the process so that it can close the deal.
According to the Justice Department, the suit marks the first predatory mortgage lending case ever brought by the DOJ. Let's take a look outside with live cam today. About 68 degrees out there right now. And I know we had a little bit of a mess out there this morning. Is that going to be back with us, Adam?
It's going to be even messier tomorrow morning and in the mornings ahead. A bit of sloppiness to start the days. That's just what we're going to have to get used to all the way through Christmas Eve on Sunday. Then things clear out from a weak cold front. Few stray sprinkles possible this evening. Not much falling from the clouds that we have out there. Southeasterly wind 5 to 10. Drizzle developing. after midnight. But notice our temperature trend, not falling off very much. I mean, we'll be 61 at 10 o'clock, 59 at midnight, and then we're on cruise control temperature-wise. We'll hold right at 59 the rest of the night, making it back up near 70 tomorrow, and actually high temperatures near 70 all the way through Sunday, Christmas Eve. And then we take a little bit of a dip closer to average for this time of year by Christmas Day. Some changes definitely you'll see and feel for Christmas. We'll talk about that and the latest futurecast for the actual rain showers in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thanks, Adam. Let's take a look now at traffic out there right now. The TransGuide camera here at I-35 in Topper Wine. You can see really in both directions. Looks like it is smooth sailing. No big tie-ups or backups at this hour.
All right, that's good. Now, tomorrow here on the news at 6, we're going to have our segment Doc Talk. It's our series featuring your medical questions on any subject, anything you want to know. So here's how you can be a part of it. You could scan that QR code to let us know which questions you'd like to ask local doctors. KSAT 12's Doc Talk airs Thursdays at 6:30.
He is paid to protect the community, but discipline records show he instead spent part of his shift at a Southeast Side hotel. SAPD tonight defending its decision to issue Officer Jonathan Reyes a 5-day suspension for neglect of duty. The minimal punishment, as well as records from his subsequent divorce, have caused some to question the officer's integrity in the workplace and whether the department should have issued harsher discipline.
When you have somebody who's supposed to be a witness in court that can be trustworthy to support allegations against a private citizen, it's important that they're not lying about their private lives.
Coming up in just a few minutes, SAPD Chief William McManus defends his record when hearing officer sex misconduct cases.
Now, we want you to stick around. Still ahead on the news at 6. Keeping your children healthy, of course, is important. And RSV is one virus that could put them in the hospital. After the break, how you can prevent your child from getting sick.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Rodriguez Trial Law.
Hi, I'm Fidel Rodriguez Jr. with Rodriguez Trial Law. We'd like to wish all of our military family members a safe, healthy, and blessed Christmas season.
I'm Dylan Collier. Coming up, a woman pregnant while in the care of the Comal County Jail says her lack of proper medical care while in the facility led to her baby's death. That's on the Night Beat.
Well, 'tis the season has a whole new meaning when we're talking about RSV. RSV season is here, and parents, who want to remind you what to look out for if your children catch it. RSV is so common this time of year because it spreads so easily by touch and in the air. That's why prevention is key, like teaching your kids to wash their hands properly and cough into their elbows. Now, if they happen to get RSV, one of the biggest caretaking tips is keeping all that mucus out of their nose.
Recommend doing a saline spray up each nostril and then suctioning out the mucus. And you want to do this on a very regular basis.
Oh, but I know that is so much easier said than done. Babies under 6 months of age are most at risk for severe illness here. You should also watch your child's breathing if they get sick, fast breathing, and also using their bellies to really push out air. They're all signs they need medical attention. Other things to look out for are fever, dehydration, and fatigue.
Hopefully you won't have to deal with that, but there's some information. Now, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center hopes that you are in a giving mood because it needs more donations during the holidays. Right now, the center is averaging around 400 donations a day, which, by the way, not enough. Especially, it needs type O blood. So if you want to schedule an appointment, visit southtexasblood.org, or you can call 210-731-5590.
All right, kind of in that pattern that we sort of see this time of year, gray start to the day, but I was intrigued by the change for Christmas, Adam.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, I do think we're going to squeeze in a really nice Christmas day. That's the way it's looking right now. But leading up to it, gray, drizzly, damp. That's what we'll have to get used to, especially in the mornings. And yeah, we do see that this time of year when we really have some of our longest nights of the year. It just gives the moisture, the fog, and everything more time to develop and set in. And the sun angle's lower in the afternoon to burn it off. Sporadic light showers mixed in, and then dry by Christmas, and we're going to sweep away the humidity then as well. I'll show you that trend in a moment. First of all, actual rain chances. I mean, we're talking 30 to 40% coverage at any time tomorrow all the way through Sunday, with I think most of that even coming tomorrow night into early Friday. But not a whole lot in terms of real rain. But it's going to seem like it's raining most of the time because of the drizzle. So we put that 100% chance for drizzle. This is for the rain showers. Drizzle, that's a whole other category. And it's going to affect the visibility, I think, first thing in the morning. Here's our futurecast for the visibility. Some fog developing after midnight tonight, settling in tomorrow morning. With that fog will come the drizzle and overall dampness. Visibilities reduced to under 2 miles, and I think at times under a mile in some locations. Fog typically fluctuates quite a bit throughout the morning at any given spot, and we'll see that again tomorrow morning. But it is going to cause for the damp roadways. If you're going to hit up any of the local trails out there, they're going to be a little damp and even muddy as well because of that. Then later in the morning by 10 a.m., we start to get rid of that fog and drizzle, but the clouds, I think, will linger. Here's what we're looking at for an overall pattern. Good rain moving into New Mexico right now, creeping into what parts of West Texas. And remember, they need the rain as well, so it's nice to see somebody else in drought getting the moisture. We have this southwesterly flow aloft, and within it, a lot of cloud cover, moisture, and embedded little impulses of energy, especially associated with this big swirl near California, that upper level disturbance throwing a lot of moisture on shore in California. For us around here, our futurecast, gray tomorrow. Yeah, there could be a few cracks in the clouds from time to time, but just prepare for a lot of gray all the way through about midday Christmas Eve on Sunday. Notice a few little showers popping up here and there throughout the day tomorrow. Again, about 30% coverage, and then becoming a little more numerous tomorrow night into the very early morning hours on Friday. We'll have some scattered activity then with drizzle in between. But even with that, all the way through Sunday, from now through Sunday, we're looking at up to half an inch of rain in and around town, lesser amounts closer to the Rio Grande. The sweet spot will be Dallas to Waco to Houston and eastward. That's where 2 inches or more could fall from this pattern. More energy there, so they'll have better lift for it. Today, 50 degrees in the morning, 73 in the afternoon. Both of those above average. 66 right now, dew point of 55. Now the temperature in the dew point, they're going to meet up again later tonight, and that's going to saturate our air, helping to develop that fog and the drizzle as well. So dew points in the 50s. As we go through the rest of the week, we will see some mugginess. You'll actually feel the mugginess, and then a drop. A weak cold front on Sunday will sweep away that humidity and the clouds, and it's going to make for a beautiful Christmas day. Really quickly tomorrow, 59 in the morning with the drizzle. By noon, we're at 66. And then right up near 70 for the high temperature. 69 here in town, low 70s south of town. Looking ahead, temperatures not changing much, even with the weak cold front Sunday. By Monday, Christmas Day, sunny, low humidity, 67. Then just some cooler mornings next week. We'll talk more about that and where the cold air is right now at 6:45.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
So this is an exciting time of year. It's when we see our homegrown athletes. We get to find out where they're going to go on and continue growing.
Yeah, it's always a great day to cover these young student athletes. So at 5 o'clock, we talk with some Steel Knights. Now we're going to talk to some Smithson Valley Rangers, 3 football players going on to the next level. I'm talking about Texas, Army, and Arkansas State. Plus, sons of former NFL quarterbacks faced off in the Frisco Bowl last night. Coming up. It was National Signing Day for high school student athletes, and San Antonio's finest found their new homes for where they'll be competing at the collegiate level. This morning at Smithson Valley High School, 3 Rangers football players made it official. William Mack will be blocking pass rushers at Army. Freddie Dubose is going to catch touchdowns at Texas, and Clayton Amaya will be kicking game-winning field goals at Arkansas State. So what made them choose those schools?
The brotherhood, especially here, is a lot like the one that's there. I like the brothers that are around me, the family, all the opportunities to play with them.
I just love the atmosphere there and the family feel, and I love the good line of specialists before, so it just felt like the right spot for me, and I'm ready to get up there.
They never gave up on me throughout my injury process, and I think that's what stood out to me out of everybody is because, just them putting their full trust into me and believing in me that I'm going to be all right and I'm going to come back better is what really stood out to me.
Tonight on the Night Beat, we'll hear from athletes at Clemens and Veterans Memorial, and you can see our full coverage of signing day on KSAT.com. UTSA won the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl last night, beating Marshall 35-17 to claim their first ever bowl game. Roadrunners wide receiver Joshua Cephas was named offensive MVP, and cornerback Cam Alexander took home defensive MVP. I mean, oh, what a night it was. KSAT 12 Sports' Mary Rominger was there, and she has more.
Hey Larry, what was shaping up to be a storybook ending for UTSA star quarterback Frank Harris, hoping to guide the Roadrunners on a quest for their first ever bowl game victory in his final outing, turned into a QB battle of two redshirt freshmen and sons of former NFL quarterbacks. Rumors of Harris not playing in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl began swirling early Tuesday morning, but it wasn't until an hour before kickoff that Harris's inactive status was confirmed.
He wanted to play more than life itself. He was on the sideline. He prepared Owen all week. He was a very good role model for Owen. There's nothing more he could have done.
Owen McCown would step in for the Roadrunners, his first full game worth of action since playing at Tennessee September 23rd. Marshall saw its starting QB enter the NCAA transfer portal, so the Thundering Herd turned to Cole Pennington. Josh McCown's son and Chad Pennington's son going head-to-head, making some pro football fans feel old.
It's obviously a cool deal, this era of former players that my dad's probably played with them all. It's a crazy world, though, for sure.
McCown helped UTSA overcome an early 14-0 deficit, throwing 2 touchdowns and racking up 251 passing yards as the Roadrunners took the lead late in the second quarter and never looked back. The game didn't look like we expected it to. Harris out with the shoulder sprain. Senior safety Rashad Wisdom leaving with a broken arm, but it was one for the record books. In Frisco, Mary Rominger, KSAT 12 Sports. Larry, back to you.
Thank you, Mary. So we end by highlighting KSAT 12 photojournalist Billy and the Blue Jacket. One of the best, and you guys know he's a nice young man.
Oh, very nice, but
nice
very
young
skilled
man.
too.
I like that. Billy's awesome.
Pat his head when you see him.
There you go.
Lovely young man.
There you go. Well, coming up right here after the break, he is paid to protect the community, but discipline records show he instead spent part of his shift at a Southside hotel. Up next, KSAT investigates the minimal punishment as well as records from his subsequent divorce that have caused some to question this officer's integrity in the workplace.